This is the A to Z podcast. Expert insights on leadership, business, real estate, investing, and growth.
Peter Drucker is recognized as the father of modern management. He said that culture is strategy for a breakfast. I want to add that culture also is A players, world class products, services, and resources for a lunch. When you don't understand the power of culture, what happens? You won't be able to leverage it. Today, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to share with you 3 myths that are preventing a lot of teams and organizations from unlocking the power of culture. The first one is we are not the product of our culture. When I was a veterinarian, we used to culture microbials. I can give you a good example. I can have one bacteria and I could create 2 cultures. I could use 2 petri dishes, use different chemicals, substance, put them into different temperature, pH, and come up with 2 totally different bacteria. One could be a vaccine. Another one could be a biological weapon. What's the difference? The cultures, not the bacteria, the same bacteria. When we don't understand that we are the product of our cultures, we assume that we are the way we are, which means we don't want to change. That's not true. Culture molds and shapes us. Until we understand such a power culture has, we are unable to leverage it. The second myth is we run the culture. The reverse is true. Culture runs us. There was an experiment in the 1970s or the 80s. There were scientists. They would study how group thinking works. They had 5 monkeys. They came up with a laboratory where they configured sprays with cold ice water. They placed a ladder in the middle of the room. At the top of the ladder, some bananas. They starved these monkeys. I don't like that part of the experiment. They starved them. You know the love affair between monkeys and bananas? The moment these starved monkeys, they saw the bananas, they rushed to climb the ladder and enjoy the bananas. Unfortunately, the moment one of them touched the ladder, they were sprayed with cold ice water. They retreated. They regrouped, came back again, sprayed with cold ice water. They retreated back. Finally, they came up with a group thinking, a culture. I don't know what they were talking about. Most probably they were saying, this ladder must be cursed and let's not touch it. At that spot, the scientists turned off the spray, which means any one of them, they could climb the ladder and enjoyed the bananas, but they didn't. They formed a culture and they prevented themselves, not the scientists, not the spray, not the ladder, not the bananas, themselves from eating the bananas. Here is the interesting part of that experiment. They start to remove these monkeys one by one and substituted them with the new ones who didn't know what was happening. The first new monkey came in, as you can imagine. The monkey, I believe, shocked, looked at his people sitting there watching bananas resentfully, not eating them. Because he was starved, he didn't want to analyze it too much, just rushed towards the bananas. What do you think happened? Yeah, those 4 monkeys sprayed with cold ice water. They didn't want to be ice cold water sprayed. What did they do? They intercepted this new monkey, beating him so badly that next time it took a little bit of time. Tried again. They beat a hell out of him and then gave up, joined the group thinking, the culture. Didn't know why they are beating him. He didn't know what's wrong with the bananas, nothing. The interesting thing is when new monkeys were coming, this new monkey who didn't know what was happening was joining the bidding. The same thing happened until all of these monkeys who knew what happened were removed. Think about these new monkeys who didn't know what was happening. They finally realized that we were beaten down because maybe there was a danger there. These majority know better than I know, and therefore I just joined the group. Now, when I share this experiment, some people push back, oh, AZ, these are just monkeys. And then I have to give them another experiment on humans, the same kind of different kind of experiment. There is no beating there. There is no cold ice spray, but the same kind of, because we don't have time here, I don't share that. But culture is powerful. Until you understand how powerful culture is, you cannot enjoy its benefits. You might have seen this, by the way. You were in one culture. You go to another corporate culture. They may not beat you physically, but they use some phrases like, we don't do these kind of things around here, which means they are disciplining you, conditioning you. Sometimes they roll their eyes. They laugh at you. At the end of the day, you say, you know what? I will assemble myself, which means the power of culture captured you. You do know why some of the things are done or not done, said or not said. Some of them, you look at them, it's insane to say this. It's insane to do this. But they do it, and they discipline and culture you and condition you to do it. That's the power of culture. The third and the final myth is we can autopilot culture. Impossible. I was a software engineer. Whenever we came up with a new software and app, we always test it first. Once we release it, we expect that something could go wrong. Sometimes we quickly debug it and fix it. Sometimes we need to change some of the functions, which means we need to reform that software. Sometimes we need to abandon it and evolve and create a new software. The same thing happens in cultures. You cannot just autopilot it. Many teams and organizations, they declare and say that this is our culture, and they expect that culture to autopilot and run without their nurturing, watering, and fertilizing it. Impossible. I studied a lot of cultures when I was working on my book, Culture That Works. A couple of cultures I quoted from Ethiopia, the Ethiopian Airlines culture and the Haile Gebrselassie hotels and resorts. Actually, when I went to Ethiopia, I talked to the leadership of the Ethiopian Airlines and I asked them this specific question. How did you create this culture of promptness and cleanliness, and how did it stick for decades, making the airlines the number one airlines in Africa? The answer was clear. They didn't autopilot it. It was not evolving by itself. They told me that, especially in the early days, the leaders, they stop and wait at the gate. And if somebody comes a little late, they return them back. If they keep on doing that, they'll be fired. They stop at the gate and so see their collars, see their socks, see their shoes, and see whether they are clean enough. If not, they return them back. You see, that's how you nurture culture. You don't autopilot culture. In conclusion, if you want to leverage culture, if you don't want your culture to sabotage you, if you want to create a vibrant, robust culture which creates a high performing environment, you want to understand these three myths and do something about them. If you are interested, if you want to dive deep, you can read my book, Culture That Works. It's available on Amazon. I'm going to also share some links, some resources, free resources in the description of this video. You can read a sample chapter, you could download a starter kit, and also you could take a free complimentary audit. We can stress test your culture and let you know where is it's working so that you leverage it, or where you could be able to make some reforms, adjustments, or pruning so that you could be able to make your culture high performing. If you have any question, if you need coaching, consulting, please reach out. Our email address is info@the A2Z institute.com. We'll love to working with you. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to see you with another live session. Thank you.